Okay, so we are going to talk a little bit about Summer Quest this year. So normally, you guys know, somewhere in like the second week of June, we normally have a kickoff party, and you guys would come in and we'd give you an instruction sheet, and we'd give you stickers, and we would talk about what was going to happen in the summer. But we know that this year it's a little different, right? Some of us have been home, or most of us have been home. We've been reading from home, but we really wanted to make sure as a library that we were still, my kitty cat is going crazy in the background. I'm so sorry.
That's just what they do.
Yeah, she just zoomed across the room. So anyway, so we wanted to make sure that we were still bringing you a super fun time for summer. So because of that, because we're still social distancing and staying safe, we as a library and also the Berks County Library System decided that we would do Summer Quest virtually this year. And we are doing Summer Quest on Read Squared. So as you can see on the screen right now, this is the front page, Tim, right? Not the back end?
Yes, this is the front.
All right, awesome. So this is actually what you guys would end up seeing. So the link that you'd want to go to register is Wernersville.readsquared.com. Now I will be making a social media post with this link on there, so it's easier for you guys, but also feel free to write it down now if you'd like. One thing that I'd want to mention before we dive into this is you might have seen on our Facebook page that we are doing Facebook watch parties with Paige Turner Adventures, and it's this really awesome character named Paige Turner. Now, we have different videos that we do watch parties with them, and it's just really neat. Like we tomorrow are doing a Space Slug finger puppet program. We did Magic Eggs yesterday. So normally they happen on Tuesdays and Thursdays at either 3 o'clock or 3:30. Moving forward for the summer here, since we're starting Summer Quest this week, we will actually have to-go bags that you can sign up to schedule to pick up from the library, so that way when you watch the watch party, you can actually have the materials with you already to complete the activity. So the same way that we just started curbside at the library this week, you would call the library and ask to schedule a pickup for these kits. If you go on our Facebook page and go under events, you will see that I believe upwards to July right now, we have them all listed for when the watch parties are occurring. So if you make a list of the ones that you'd like, we're only having the bags be available a week before. So right now we do have the Space Slug finger puppet bags ready. So if you wanted to do the watch party with us tomorrow on our Facebook page, you could schedule a pickup of those items to do that. Or you can just participate in those watch parties at home without picking them up. But if they're there, you might as well pick them up too. Another thing that we're doing is we are having Snapology do a virtual program that's a Wizards theme this Friday. That's going to be, I believe, in the afternoon. But same thing with that, you can register through our event page on Facebook. They have their own separate link for it. You're actually registering through Snapology for this program, not through us. But if you would happen to not have Legos at home that you can access, we do have some at the library that we can put together for you to borrow and then bring back. So if you wanted to participate in that but didn't have access to those things, feel free to contact us. So we will have a bunch of those bags all throughout the summer that you can contact the library and ask about. So I just want to make sure that I mention that first. Another thing that we're doing, like for example today with the watch parties, is we have author watch parties that are happening every Wednesday, at least through the end of June here, and then they start back up towards the end of July. That's really neat to be able to see a real author who will tell you about how they started writing, what they write, what they enjoy about it. And I know when I was little, I loved stuff like that. So that happens on our Facebook wall as well. So as far as the summer program, so like Mr. Tim and I mentioned, It's all virtual this year, so we aren't handing out a reading log, and we aren't handing out the stickers just because we're trying to keep everyone safe and still social distance. So what's going to happen is you can actually go to this website, and you can see on the right-hand side here, it says about you can download on the App Store as well. So you can either, exactly, thank you, Mr. Tim. So you can see that you can either go to the website to register, or you can go onto the app and register and log that way as well. Let's see, Tim, do you have anything to add at this point yet?
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
Tara's put it pretty well. Just remember when you type in the URL that you're going to need wernersville.readsquared.com, because Read Squared is a program that other libraries are using. So going to the top of the top page will not take you to ours. And you don't need to worry about this default stuff. That's only if you are putting in the URL yourself. If you're looking on Facebook or social media and just clicking on the link, you will be absolutely fine.
Awesome. Okay, so the next thing that you'll see on this website, on the right-hand side, it says log in. If you don't have an account yet, you could scroll down. It says don't have an account, register now. This is the button that you're going to want to click to create an account. Now you can create an account for each of your children. So that you can do it that way so they each have their own account and they're all logging their own different minutes. So you can see here, as Tim just put this up for us perfectly, it says register. Who would like to register? You can register yourself and your children, or a group. So that's going to help simplify you actually registering as well. Once you have your account registered, you'll be able to easily log in that section where it says log in on the right-hand side. Now, let's see. So normally you would log in right here. It also mentions, the same thing, don't have an account, register now. And if you happen to forget your password, you can still get it by email, which is very helpful for people like me who write everything down and then still manage to lose it. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is to show you the similarities of how our summers normally go compared to how it's going to go this year. So as I mentioned, we don't have any paper logs this year, and we're not logging with stickers. That is to help with social distancing and to actually make life easier for you, because you're able to access it from the internet or from your device through the app. So this year, we still have, for the reading program, we have 4 separate age groups, which when you create accounts for you and your children, they will fall into one of those 4. So let's get started just by explaining what those age groups are. So the first age group is birth, so 0 years old to age 5, okay? So the way that it works, if you remember from last year, is we had, thank you so much, Tim, we had it all set up this way where we had the 4 different groups. And especially for the younger age, we had a certain amount of time that you'd have to read in order to complete a stage. Now our stages are going to be considered badges online here, okay? So like last year when we had the stickers, this year for age 0, from baby to age 5, every 20 minutes that they read, they will receive a badge. So just for registering their account, they're going to receive a badge for that. But then for every 20 minutes that you were logging for them after this, they will be receiving a badge. And for every badge they receive, they're receiving 100 points towards finishing their summer reading program. So what's going to happen is that for every registration, it takes 1,000 points to complete. So if you're receiving a badge for every 100, you're going to get 10 badges total before you complete. Also, I don't know if you guys remember, but we have those really cool smaller prizes that normally, excuse me, normally you'd come in with your tickets and you would come and choose prizes. Well, we still have smaller prizes, but you will be alerted by your badge when you can schedule to come to the library to pick up your small prize. We do have different types of smaller prizes, and we, moving forward, will be working towards having them available for you to come pick up. The badges don't necessarily say, oh, you've won this specific prize. It just says, oh, you've earned your next badge. You have earned a prize. Please contact the library. At that point, you should please give the library a call. I believe that's preferable, or email us as well to let us know that you'd like to schedule to come pick that up. So then moving on to the next age group. So the next one is age 6 to age 11. So for this age group, in order to receive a badge, they have to read 40 minutes per badge. Okay? So they're receiving 100 points per every 40 minutes that they're reading. Now, starting with this age group, they can either choose to read by minute, like I just explained, or they can choose to read by pages. So if they're choosing to read by pages for this age group, they have to read, let's see, they would read 125 pages per batch. So in order to complete their summer reading, their summer quest, they would have to read 1,250 pages in order to receive the 10 badges, which completes. It also still works out to be 1,000 points. So I know with the birth to age 5 group, we always just say that's not by pages at all, that's just by minutes. I normally say to the 6 to 11 to choose which would work better for your family. I know a lot of the time this age group is still choosing to do minutes because it seems to be easier for them than keeping track of just pages, but you're more than welcome to choose which one works better for your family. Then the next age group is 12 to 18 years old. Just like all our teen programs at the library are 12 to 18, this is the same for this age group. So in order to receive one badge or to complete one stage, you have to read 60 minutes, okay? So it ends up working out to be 120 points per each badge if you're looking at it from the points perspective. If you would choose to read pages for this age group instead of minutes, it would work out to be 225 pages per badge in order to receive the badge. And it would be 1,200 points to complete. So what we say with this age group here is that by this point, I'm probably saying to do more pages if you'd prefer, because during the summer, I would normally be encouraging this age group to do it by pages read instead of minutes. But same thing as I mentioned for the 6 to 11-year-olds, you are more than welcome to choose which one works out better for you and for the way that you read. We just want to encourage you to have fun and to read in general.
Excuse me, Miss Tara, could you repeat the page count for that group again so I can write it down for everyone?
Sure. So it looks like, so you'd have to be 225 pages per badge. Okay.
Alrighty.
And I actually think, yeah, in my notes here, I don't have the exact pages to complete, but I do have the points, and that ends up being 1,200 points to complete. So it ends up equaling out based off of the age group, just like it equaled out from last summer when we had the logs. When it was either the sticker for minutes or it was the sheets with the lines that could fill in the page numbers. We're doing the same exact thing. Mr. Tim and I have worked really hard on this, but it's just directly virtual, so it's less contact and easier for everyone. As I mentioned with the prizes before too, I just want to state that isn't just for birth through age 5. That is for those 3 age groups. They will all receive that notification that a prize is available for them at the library and to contact the library. And finally, I do want to say as well that we also do have an 18+ category for adults. So normally, I mean, we're always pushing all the age groups, but normally my focus is more on the children. But we want you to know as adults that we want to encourage you to read and to do this as well. So even though you would get the notification for the little prizes for the adults, that is more, I believe we didn't have it set for the adults. It is just for the under 18 for the prizes. We are still working, as a library, we are still working on setting up raffle prizes. Just because we're having everyone start to register this week, the Read Squared is not going to have a list of possible raffle prizes at this point because we don't have them gathered. So because everything else kind of got topsy-turvy, we also didn't receive the prizes that we normally do from community members or from the system. So we're trying our best to collaborate as a board and as a library to get raffle prizes together. And as soon as we know what those will be, we will somehow put them on Read Squared. We have been directed to let you guys know that everyone will have a shot to have an entry with things. We're just still figuring out exactly how that's going to work.
Absolutely, and if I can step in for a second, the raffle prizes are a bit of your incentive to, you know, do more reading, do it over, get more points once you have gotten yourself beyond the badges. Like usually in summer programs, you can start things over again, hoard tickets. And the way that's going to work is that apart from the guaranteed entry you have from completing the program in general, you can actually buy the tickets in the program, the raffle entries with points. So anything that gets you more points is going to be worth it to you, whether it's badges or missions we're working on putting together.
Awesome. That's a great point, Mr. Tim, because I completely forgot about that part. So thank you very much.
Of course.
There's two other things that I would like to mention real quick. So a lot of you have been attending our virtual programs that we've had, and thank you so much for that. That means the world to us as a library that we're still able to reach out and be able to interact with our patrons at this time. So one cool thing is, because since the start of June, we've technically been doing Summer Quest programming. All of those programs, or most, I'll say most of them, most of the programs that you are attending virtually, we are actually going to end up having secret codes for, that by participating in those programs, they can also earn you points for your Summer Quest log. So normally they would work out to be 50 points per program that you attend. So I have been stating it in the past couple programs that I've done, just because we've been working really hard to get this up and going for you guys. But what I'm going to do is, if you have already attended, let's say the Elmwood Park Zoo things, or Imagination Station, any of the things that have been like on Zoom, they're all going to have a special code. Normally what's going to happen during the summer is I will state that code during the program, and you can write it down and then go into Read Squared, and you will see that there will be a place in order to put your secret code in, and it will apply the points to your account. So if you have, let's say for example, you have 3 children and they all 3 have separate accounts, what you'd want to do is write that code down, and then you'd have to go in each of their accounts in order to implement that code. I don't believe that there's a way to implement it once and have it count for all. I may be wrong, and if so, I'll figure that out soon. But I would just have it in your head that you might have to go into every account just to input that secret code. But that's a really great incentive to also attend things. And if you have already attended ones that we didn't have secret codes set up for, I'm going to send an email blast out with those codes to the people that did attend. That way they'll have them even though the programs are backlogged. Another thing that I wanted to bring up as well is something that Mr. Tim has been working really hard on, is creating missions for the summer. So what's really cool is you can go into, I believe there's a missions tab within Read Squared. They're just another thing to entice you to read, but in different ways. So I believe that we have like one mission where you should try to read outside, read in a different location than you normally would, and you will end up receiving points. There'll be varying points for different missions based on how difficult they are, but you will receive points for doing those things. I know another one is Mr. Ron has been doing Polywog at home for us. He's been uploading a PDF for our director to put on our website. He has asked a couple times if something that you create at home for Polywog, if you could take a picture of it and either send it to him or send it to us. And I know that Mr. Tim did create a mission for that as well, where you can upload a photo of something you've created for Polywog, and that will give you the points. Or I believe we might have said upload it here and email it to him. But once you do the upload, it would go through. So there will be different things that are enticing you to be active and to read throughout the summer, but that are fun at the same time. So I believe we might have covered everything. Oh, the only other thing that I'd like to mention, and then Tim could elaborate on anything that he would have as well, is a cool thing that is set up with Read Squared is you can actually go, there's a calendar section, and as we upload different programs that we have going on in the summer, they'll actually show up on this calendar when they're happening. So it's essentially the same thing we do on Facebook with listing when an event is happening, but instead it's appearing on an actual calendar. One thing that Mr. Tim did discover is that depending on the age group that you sign up for, it will only, the event calendar will only show you the programs that we've uploaded to the event calendar as things that will work for their age group. So if you have one child that is 6 and another that is 13, they may be seeing different things because it's only applying to what their age group is. If there are programs that are all ages, then everyone will see them. But if it's something that is only for the 6 through 11 age group, your 13-year-old will not be able to take notice of that on their calendar. For that reason, I see using the event calendar on Read Squared as a tool along with our events page on our Facebook specifically. I know that we're trying to post weeks before with things that are happening and then hours before as reminders. But I do know with Facebook, if you hit interested, it will send you a notification to let you know that this event is coming up soon. Whereas feedback from staff has showed us that with the event calendar on Read Squared, we don't believe that there is a way that you can either hit interested on that event or get reminded by it. Once again, this is all new for us as well. So if it turns out at any point that we recognize that that's something that can be done, we'll definitely implement it and let people know. But like I said, I would just use it as a tool, but it is another way to kind of keep track of things that you may want your child to participate in throughout the summer. Also, another thing, like I said, registration is starting as of today, so we will make sure to post something on Facebook with the link. So at this point, you are allowed to start registering. You will also be able to keep doing your reading, I believe, until the week of August 11th. So I believe our last day of Summer Quest will be August 11th, depending on if anything else would happen to shift in the summer. But otherwise, I think that's pretty much it. Mr. Tim, is there anything that I may have missed that you would like to go over?
No, I think you pretty much got everything. We've been over the badges. I don't know if Tara mentioned this, but there are 11 badges in total. There are the 10 that you go through by gaining points, and you actually do get one badge that requires 0 points just for joining. So that's a fun little thing you can show your friends. Be like, hey, jealous, I got a little picture on the internet. Eyebrow raise, am I right, folks? And I was actually going to ask, I was asking in chat, I don't know if it was noticed, if Miss Tara here would be okay with me giving you all a little half worth bonus proof of concept code that I could set up for you.
Yes, that would be great. I think
All
that
right.
would be fantastic.
So I can go into the Gullyworks and set this up later so that when you all register, you can use this. The code will be DOC, D-O-C, all lowercase. This is a little wink and a nod to the results of our quiz today.
Awesome.
And that will give you 25 points.
Okay. All right. So thank you everyone for joining us for trivia and also for information on our Summer Quest Imagine Your Story program. If you ever at any point have any questions, feel free to email us, reach out to us. We're always willing to help, and we know that this is a transitional period. So, but we would really love to see you participate, and we would love to help you in any way that we can. All right. So
Yes,
I think,
thank you all.
yes, thank you so much, everyone. We really appreciate the time, and we'll see you at a program soon.